Welcome to the Shannon Fox Show, the podcast where we empower career moms to thrive. I'm your host, Shannon Fox, a career advancement coach dedicated to helping moms like you leverage your strengths to land your dream job, secure that well-deserved raise, or finally get that promotion, all without sacrificing time with your family. Each week, I'll bring you actionable strategies, inspiring stories, and strength-based tools to help you align your career with your natural gifts and step into your full potential. So, if you're ready to stop feeling stuck and start building the career and life you deserve, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I am so excited to have Sean Douglas with me today. Sean is a U.S. Air Force retiree, three-time TEDx speaker, professional keynote speaker, master resilience strategist, international podcast host, and two-time best-selling author. His why is his suicide survival. His why is he's a suicide survivor who hit rock bottom with no purpose or passion. He believes that you are created for a purpose, and once you unlock your true potential, you will elevate your life. His mission is highlighted as he is the vice president on the board of the nonprofit One Life Fully Lived. In a highly interactive and engaging environment, utilizing online mentoring sessions and face-to-face workshops, Sean offers life-changing resilience skills and business positioning strategies to career professionals, military veterans, professional speakers, authors, podcasters, and entrepreneurs that will unlock their true potential and elevate them to new heights in their personal and professional lives. Sean equips people with the tools necessary to live epic adventure lives and leaves people better equipped to manage change effectively. Sean hit rock bottom, never felt loved or valued, feeling lost in the world, and tried to take his life. He now shares his powerful testimony on stages globally and sends the message that at any point, you have the power to say, "This is not how my story ends." Sean spent 4 years at an Air Force basic training. He spent 4 years as an Air Force basic training drill instructor, where he developed over 600 men and women into military leaders. Sean is energetic and passionate about inspiring others to succeed. While serving his country since 2001 as an active duty Air Force airman, he started and operated 3 successful businesses. His book, Decisions: The Power to Overcome Self-Defeating Behaviors, reflects his passion for inspiring others to succeed and grow through the worst seasons of their life. Considered an icon of influence in the new media space, Sean hosts the Top 2% podcast, Create, Launch, Monetize podcast, and From No Worth to Self-Worth show, based on his best-selling book. He also speaks at many podcast industry events throughout the year. Watch his popular TEDx talks at www.thesuccesscore.com. Welcome, Sean. I want to first start with saying thank you for your service to our country. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I am honored to be here, and have been honored to serve for over 20 years in the U.S. Air Force, and now I am happily retired.
That is awesome. I just appreciate your service. So for those in the audience who may not know who you are yet, you talk about this journey of hitting rock bottom and then finding passion and purpose. So can you give us a little background on that and how discovering that true passion and purpose has just been such a life-changing experience for you?
Have you ever felt like you should have been the one to invent the phone or the
Yes.
light bulb or the car? Like, why didn't I think of that? That's how I felt my whole life. I always felt second best. I mean, I'm a middle child. I
Okay.
always felt second best. I always felt like someone was first. And I'm like, man, I missed my moment. But you have to create those moments that signify who you are, that tells the story of who you are. And so that's what I did. Yeah, I hit rock bottom because I put so much pressure on myself. The military put so much pressure on me. And after a few deployments, you see some bad people, you see some bad things, it sticks with you, you wake up with nightmares, you start drinking, you start medicating in different types of ways.
Right.
That's what I did. And so I hit rock bottom to the point where I was losing everything. They were going to kick me out of the military because I showed up to work drunk. I was going to get a divorce, lose the family. I was going to lose everything. And so I couldn't bear the thought that I'm this big of a screw up. Like, how do you ruin a military career and a family all at the same time?
Yeah.
But my my military brothers saved me, and they, I didn't check into work for a couple of days, and they saved me. They were there. They found me in my deepest, darkest night of the soul moment.
Um,
And I got the help that I needed because I had childhood abuse that I didn't never deal with. I had, my parents got divorced. There was just a lot of stuff, and I was just an angry kid.
yeah.
So, with everything that happened leading up in my life until 2009, I needed this moment. And we all have a moment that not defines who we are, but forges who we are.
I love that.
We always say that we're forged in the fire.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you've ever been to a Tony Robbins event, they do the fire walk. It's supposed to signify like you are forged in the fire. It's how they make, it's like iron sharpens iron.
Right.
And so that moment, that horrible moment that you're going through right now, or that you have been, you are being forged in the fire, and you're being hardened, and you're becoming more resilient. And so don't shy away from those deep, hard moments. Embrace them. Don't just go through it, grow through it.
Oh, I love that. Grow through it. Yes. I think everybody, has those. I mean, I also had very traumatic childhood and growing up with that trauma, but I look back and you're right. It's that moment there's some moments where I can look back and say, all right, this is not the life I want to live anymore. And I'm going to make the change. And I have. I've changed the projection of that. I've broken generational curses. My husband has too, so that we're not bringing that on to our kids. And to me, I think that's huge in that. And so taking something so bad and growing through that, I love that.
Mhm.
And that's part of that epic life that you were talking about. And so, what advice would you give to the women that are listening right now? Like, how do they get to have this epic life that you talk about? And what does that look like? I mean, I guess for each individual person, it's going to look a little different, but what do you want to, can you advise them?
I love this moment. Everything's going to look different for it doesn't. It doesn't. An epic, adventurous life.
Epic.
What does that look like? Specifically to the person, maybe it's Disney World, maybe it's going to the mountains, maybe it's kayaking, fishing, going skydiving, hot air balloon, but it's all the same. The activity is specific to the person, but the action is the same.
Oh, I
In
love
order
that.
for you to live the most adventurous, I have been to every single continent except to Australia. Thank you, Mr. Military. Thank you, Uncle Sam, for paying my vacation. But I didn't have to stay in England or Germany. Like I traveled everywhere. I looked at, I was like, I'm going here for the weekend. I'm backpacking through Ireland. I'm going to go to Wales this weekend. I'm going to go almost get stabbed in the subway in France, in Paris. Like it's like, what am I going to do this weekend? Here's how you do it. And here is what you do. The how is just write down the feeling you want to feel. That's all it is. Just write down the feeling. This weekend, I want to feel adrenaline. I want to feel pumped. I want to feel excited, not so much motivated, but just, I want to be scared of something. I want to be we're going skydiving. This is it. That's what we got to do. Right. So it's the feeling. You're chasing the feeling. And so our brains are just wired for those endorphins and all of the chemicals and like all the like all the stuff. Right.
Right.
It's like chasing a drug high, or it's like, I want to get drunk. Let's get wasted. Right. Because you're chasing like the party. I never drank to like mask my pain. I drank so that I could feel. It was so weird. It was like the opposite. I was so numb from shutting off my feelings, because when you're in the military and there's bad guys and you're deployed, sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Right.
And so you shut off your human side. Well, in order to feel my human side, I would drink. I became the life of the party. And then if I drank whiskey, I felt this way. If I drink tequila, I felt this way. If I felt this one thing, I felt this way. So it was like, depending on the mood going in, was the mood going out. And so
Gotcha.
I did a lot of research. And my first TEDx talk is called Hacking Your Brain for Success. And so I looked at fact-based positive psychology research studies, and our brain is wired for defense. And so, in order to get out of the rat race and the hamster wheel, you have to have a pattern interrupt. And in order for you to have a pattern interrupt, you have to chase a feeling. And there's all kinds of, of research studies, like the law of diffusion of innovation is a great one. It basically talks about, like, are you an early adopter or are you a laggard? There's another one called the broaden and build theory. And it was a North Carolina researcher who came up with the broaden and build theory in 2004 that says that every positive emotion builds on itself and every negative emotion builds on itself. And so if you want to feel more positives, build positives in your life. It's like, oh, I want this car. I never see this car anywhere, but I really love this car. And nobody else has this car, but I'm going to go buy this car. And the minute you buy it, you see it everywhere.
Everywhere.
It's because where focus goes, energy flows. What
Right.
you focus on expands. If you want to feel a certain way, go chase that feeling. Today, I want to feel this way. Today, I want to feel this way. And sometimes it's like, you know what? I'm just in a bad mood and I want to honor that feeling and I want to just feel that and I want to sit in that. But then I'm going to have to move on. You can't just sit there. You can't just be in that state. And so, if you want to be successful, if you want to live an adventurous, epic life, if you want to do anything extraordinary, you have to chase that feeling of, how do I want to feel today? And it's a choice. How do I want to feel? Do I want to feel like crap? Then you're going to eat like crap and you're going to talk like crap. You're going to experience crap. Or do I want to live the most amazing life today? And what does that look like for you?
Right.
The event is different, but the action is always the same.
I love that. I love that. I have not thought of it that way, but yes, you're right. I love that. Like, what feeling are you wanting? And I think that that's where, your mindset comes into it. And it's, okay, I want those positive feelings. I want positive. Today I'm going to wake up. I'm going to have a successful day. Today I'm going to wake
Mm-hmm.
up and, like, well, yesterday I woke up, I'm like, I'm going to take time to myself. And so I went and had a day where, I didn't really do a ton of work because that was what I had decided in my mind that I wanted to do. So I love that, of like, it's the feeling and all that, like the specifics of the action
Mm-hmm.
may look different, but it's the feeling that we're all going. So that's
Yep.
good. I like that.
There you go.
So what are some other mindset shifts that these women listening may need to make in their for themselves to help them with not only helping them to advance in their career, but maybe even in their home life? Because I know,
Mm-hmm.
we've got women in all areas that will be listening. So what advice can you give to them?
There are so many tools. I mean, you could Google it, you could research it. But what I love about the summits and the speakers that you've brought together is that we all are coming from a place of, we've tried them, we know what works, we know what doesn't work, and we know what specifically worked for us. We've tweaked it, and now this is what we use. So in your home life, you could use Gary Chapman's The Love Language, the 5 love languages. But
Yes.
does that always work? If you do it, Or if you want to go a little bit more religious, you could do the fireproof your marriage, the 40 days or whatever they, right? So,
Yeah.
so there's all these things. Or you could do like a disc profile, or you could do a Myers-Briggs, or you could do a personality test, and you could do a strength test. What I love about the question is that it's not about what I want,
Mhm.
unless I'm single and I'm living by myself. But it's like, where are we going? And I
Right.
love the way that you framed the question, because it's like, what advice are we giving to the moms right?
Yeah.
Because it's not just you. Where
Right.
are we going? Who's leading your house?
Yeah.
They always say, like, the dad's got to step up and be the spiritual leader of the home. If you're religious, or if you're spiritual, whatever, like, they always talk about, like, you have to partner together, right? So one of the strategies that I use is gratitude. Gratitude has been scientifically linked to lowering your anxiety, stress, and depression. Period.
Hmm.
Research study upon research study has proven this. Count three blessings a day, morning, noon, and night. Three blessings a day. Gratitude. Number one.
Yep.
The second part of that is not only gratitude, but not a dream board or a vision board. I mean, you have to go all out. Like, it was so funny. Under our hat, you're up for promotion. We usually have our next rank under our hat. So when you take off your hat, you look and there's your rank that you want to achieve.
Right.
And so it's three parts. One, be grateful. You could, like, on the seventh day of every month, I call seven people to
Love it.
say, and I make a list. Who are the seven people that have affected me in the last 30 days? And then I call them, or I text them, or whatever. And I say, hey, I just want to let you know, I call seven people on the seventh day of the month, who have greatly affected me. And you're one of my seven people. I just wanted to say thank you.
I love that.
Do you know what that does to somebody? Can
Makes
you
it feel
imagine getting a
so
phone
good.
call?
If I got
Oh
a
my
call
God.
like that, I'd be like, that is awesome.
You would feel amazing.
Yes.
You would feel absolutely, wow. Like,
Yeah.
what I'm doing is having an effect. Like, this is so cool, and it's not some fleeting moment, those moments stick with you.
Oh
And
yeah.
so, gratitude combined with that spiritual reminder, that visual, that's something that you look at every day. Not just a vision board, but like a specific, like, I have a thing that sits by my desk, and it has, like, I want to be a speaker. So there's like a big stage, I've done 3 TEDx talks. I've done, 500-person events, I've done tons of live events. I did one in an old movie theater in New York,
Oh
like a
wow.
very, it was so cool. Oh my gosh,
That
just the
was
history inside of
awesome.
that. Oh my gosh. I felt like it was like the Muppet movie, where they're all like this old, like, theater or whatever. It was so cool.
You're like, I'm just gonna remember this moment for a minute.
Right. And it was like an opera thing. It was like an old balcony. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Like,
Awesome.
this, the coolest moment. The venue was so cool. And so, it's that moment, right? And
Yeah.
then combine, it's the visual, but then it's combined, not only gratitude and the spiritual reminder, but it's always going to be the action that you take,
Right.
you know and
Mhm.
so become a moment maker.
Mhm. Love that.
Become a moment maker. And maybe the great thing that you do for someone is not only for them, but there's healing in someone else's gratitude.
Yes.
When you selflessly give to someone else, or when you make their day,
Mhm.
there's healing in that for you,
Yes.
because
Yes.
you were a part of that. And
Absolutely.
so become a moment maker, and
I
just
love
create all these little iconic moments in your life. You want to live an epic, adventurous life, create moments. There's a feeling that's involved. What feeling? It's like on stage. they always talk about it's not what you say to the audience, it's how you make them feel. And so
Yeah.
when we're on stage speaking, oh, we want to make them laugh, but we also want to kind of make them cry sometimes, or maybe we want to like take them to a deep, dark moment and take them on this journey that we lived.
Right.
And so we use different words and we use different phrases and we use different pitches and tones. And if we want to be real happy, then we're really happy.
Yeah.
you know and so it's just inflection and pitch and it's all this stuff. And so right now you and I, we get to create this moment,
Yes.
and then every speaker that comes on gets to create their moment.
Yeah.
And so
Exactly.
that is resilience
I
in the
love that.
making,
I
creating
love
the moment.
Yes. Yes. I love that because even with I feel like when I get into a mood of just bah humbug, I guess, in so many
Mm-hmm.
ways, and I'm all like all about me. That's when I just take a moment and say, okay, how can I go out and serve someone else today? Like you said, like,
Mm-hmm.
what can I do? And so that's one of our family mottos is like, if we're feeling overwhelmed, stressed, like who can I go serve today? Because going out and making a difference in someone else's life is automatically going to make a difference in your life, and it's going to change. And so it could be something so small, but it could also be like, okay, I'm going to go and we're going to go do this X, Y, and Z. So like, I feel like that's a moment maker in itself of just
Yeah.
changing, just going out and doing something, serving someone else, making it about someone else and not about yourself. And yet you still reap the benefits of that, of their happiness. It brings that happiness back to you. And I think that that's a huge moment maker for,
Mm-hmm.
I love that I personally have to do sometimes because I need to just like, okay, it's not about here. It's not about these four walls. Let's get back out and do something for someone else.
Right. It's like when you take your kids to Disney World. It's not for you. I mean, it could be, if you like to go to Disney World, okay, but it's for the kids.
Right.
You don't go see Santa Claus in the mall for you. It's for the kids, right? So you're
Exactly.
and think about how happy you are when you do something for the kids and you see their smiling faces. It doesn't matter what went on 10 minutes prior.
Right.
Your 3-year old, she could have had a huge meltdown. She could have lost it in public, right in the grocery store. And all of a sudden, outside the grocery store, they have puppy adoptions.
Oh, man.
And then she sees the puppy, and all of a sudden she's happy and she's giggling and like, she's so cute. Or she has a meltdown right before bed, and then she finally falls asleep, and you look at her, you're like, gosh, that boy's magnificent when he's sleeping. Oh, love him so much. Right. But it's like,
Yes.
it's these moments that you remember. It's these
Yes.
funny, no matter if they made you so mad 10 minutes prior, they do something funny and loving in the
Yeah.
next minute. And you're like, this is why I have kids.
Yeah.
This is why
Absolutely.
I do what I do. And that's how I feel as a speaker. If I
Yeah.
create this moment on stage and I get an unlock, the head nods are the best. I look in the crowd and there's head nods going on,
Yeah.
and I fixate on that and I point that out and I make eye contact and
Right.
creating a moment with someone in the audience. Afterwards, they come up to me and say, "Man, I really resonate with that, and I just really appreciate it. Like we're in this moment together."
Right. Yeah.
That's what I love about speaking. That's why I do what I do. It's these moments that I get to create.
Yeah.
That's what I'm chasing.
Absolutely.
And
And
so,
I
on a
think,
grand scale in
yeah.
your life,
Right.
create the most epic, adventurous moment. Think about the most adventurous vacation you could ever take and just do it. Say yes and figure it out and just do it.
I love it. Yes, absolutely. Yes, do it. So I think even going even a little further and going kind of back to what we were talking about when we're, like self-worth and how feeling, you said you were a middle child, you had trauma, didn't feel valued. But I think it goes back to when you make those moments and that you really do get to see your value because even though you're speaking or maybe it's these women and they're doing something in their job and their career or their life at home and somebody comes up like you said and just said thank you, that meant so much to me. I felt like that whole talk was strictly to me. Sorry if you heard the line. But I feel like that takes I mean, I know that for me, I've given presentations before and just been open and vulnerable. And
Mhm.
when somebody's come and they've resonated with part of that, it makes me go, wow, I really do have value and I have that to offer someone. And it just kind of helps my mindset um, to be reminded of that because I
Yep.
was told most of my life that I was unlovable, unsuccessful, would never
Hmm.
amount to anything.
Yep.
And so to get past that and still like, I still have certain triggers, obviously,
Sure.
but then to have someone come up and say that, or just like, hey, thanks for just smiling at me today. That meant so much. I was having a rough day. You had no idea. You passing and smiling at me just made me feel better. And so it could be something so small, but I think that that helps bring back that value of it. And I know, like, as women, we typically do see ourselves, don't give ourselves enough credit for having the value that we can offer to the world. So,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And sometimes it's as easy as complimenting somebody. If you're walking by a stranger and maybe they're dressed to kill, they are dressed for success and they look amazing. Tell them, hey, I
yeah.
just think that you really look amazing today. Do you
Mhm.
know what that can do to somebody? Just receiving a compliment. Some
Oh,
people, you know what? We are very, very good as humans, especially women, very, very good at carrying around luggage that nobody else can see.
yes.
I mean, there is so much baggage and so much luggage that is either from the past hurt, pain, relationship, somebody wronged you, a grudge, something, a missed opportunity. We carry that around with us. Can you imagine what would happen if you just laid it all down? Said, I'm not carrying this stuff around with me anymore. It is what it is. Acceptance is gonna reign supreme in my life. I accept it and move on. Can you imagine what would happen if you received a compliment and then accepted it on the spot and go, yeah, that's me. Thank you.
Yeah.
And it just reinforces your brand, not your business brand,
Great.
your personal brand, your core values, your morals, right? Your standards, right?
Yeah.
Somebody compliments you, you're like, I received that. Yeah, I'm going to receive that today. Instead of being like, oh, thanks.
Yeah, don't downplay it because how often do we
Right.
downplay it? We're like, oh yeah, not a big deal. Instead, it's
Yep.
yes,
Yep.
thank you. Thank you. Yes, I am going to accept that. I love that because I feel like, and I know I'm guilty of this of going, oh yeah, not a big deal. Oh, like shrugging it off.
Mm-hmm.
But I should be accepting it and saying, yes, that
Accept
is
it.
true. I do need to accept that. And so I think that that's very relatable to many of the listeners right now.
Yes. Yes. And sometimes we minimize what we're doing. It's a lot of work to run a household full of kids. It's a
Yes.
lot of work. Relationships. I I feel like, me personally, I'm not an expert in relationships, but I feel like if you and your partner have a very mutual understanding, a very loving relationship, it's work differently. I think it's not work. It's like different, right?
Right.
I don't call it work. I call it, you have to try, right? You have to actually try,
Yes.
you know? And so when you put forth effort and try and you have a great relationship, it's easy. That part's easy. What's not easy is herding a bunch of cats, aka your children, everywhere you want to go. There are moms that have soccer on Monday, baseball on Tuesday, gymnastics on Wednesday, Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts on Thursday, this guy on Friday. Then you got Saturday dance rehearsals. I mean, it's every day, every day, every day, every day, every day.
Yeah.
And you're like, when do you take time for you? Like, oh no, I got to do for the kids, got to do for the kids, got to do. Okay. Where's your self love? Where's
Right.
your self worth? Where's your self care? Who's taking care of you?
Right.
How many people I've asked that and they go, well, and then they start welling up and then they start realizing that there isn't anybody taking care of them and they're just doing you cannot give from an empty cup, ladies.
Absolutely.
Stop. You cannot
and what we're
give
teaching our
from an empty
children, we
cup.
want to teach our children to take that and do self-care for themselves as well, because then we're setting them up. So actually, by not taking care of ourselves, we're not showing our kids how to do the same thing, and we keep
Right.
that going. So
And
yes.
it's not Netflix. Netflix is not self-care. You can't just binge watch a TV show because you want to escape. Like that's just escapism. That does not solve anything.
That's true. That's true.
Right. Your self-care is centering yourself, right? Counting those blessings, creating those moments, and have it reciprocate back to you. Right.
Yeah.
The law of reciprocity. You get what you put in.
Yeah. I love that.
As simple as that.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much. So you have a free gift for our audience. Would you like to tell us about that?
I absolutely would. So I want to give a gift that is not only meaningful, but can really have a lasting impact and effect. And so the only way that I know how to do that is to give of my time. So I want to give 30 minutes of my time. Okay. There's a link, calendar link, schedule a call with me. Free, no obligation to do anything on the call, but to listen to. I'll be a sounding board. I will be whatever you need to be in that moment. We'll strategize. We will come up with a game plan. I will give you some resilience tips. No obligation to do anything else on the call. 30 minutes. I will give of my time. It's the best way that I know how to give back. And that's what I want to do. I want to give you 30 minutes to strategize, to show you how to live an epic life, to show you gratitude, resilience skills, balance your thinking, build that business, whatever tips and strategies and hacks that I can give you. That's what I want to do for your audience.
That is an awesome gift. Make sure you take them up on that, because that's huge, everyone. So yes, well, thank you so much for being here today, Sean. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I am honored to be a part of this. Just it's amazing what you're doing. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thanks so much for tuning into the Shannon Fox Show. If you found value in today's episode, I'd love for you to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with another career mom who's ready to thrive. Don't forget to grab your free Mastery Zone Discovery Quiz, where you'll uncover your strengths and take the first step toward aligning your career with your superpowers. You can also connect with me on Instagram at the.shannon.fox for more tips and inspiration. Until next time, remember, you're not just building a career, you're creating a life you love. Let's make this happen.